Just kind of waiting for some people to come in. Tonight we're going to walk you through my nightly routine with the puppies. Like I said, just waiting for some more people to join the live. We'll be going live shortly. I will walk you through the process of cleaning the pups, and then I'm going to weigh them, and I'm going to change out their collars. I took them off already because I know which puppy's which, but I kind of wanted to change them. They're really dirty. The pups are now 5 days old. Look how dirty these got. I wanted to take these off. Luckily, I have tons of them here. So we'll be changing bands because I like to keep my puppies as clean as possible. And these were looking mighty, mighty gross. For example, this is supposed to be lavender, and this definitely does not look like a lavender at all whatsoever. Look at the difference between a brand new one and the old one. They get really, really dirty. This is supposed to be teal, supposedly. Look how gross that is. I don't know if you guys could see that, but this is what it's supposed to look like. And that's only, with the puppies being 5 days old. So like I said, luckily I have a ton, so I will be changing those out. And like I said, I know which puppy is which, but I keep them on so that way you guys can identify them. I originally had them on so that I could identify the puppies, but now after a couple days, I'm able to tell which puppy is which. But at least for my lives or my videos, I will have the colors on so that way we can identify each puppy, or at least you guys can identify each puppy. I have little practice for me to be able to tell which puppy is which. But alright, I guess we're going to go ahead and get started. So Mama Luna had a litter of 8 pups on Tuesday night. And today's now Sunday. So the puppies are 5 days old. They're gaining so much weight. She's been a really, really good mama. And she's got tons of milk. So these puppies have gained a ton of weight. We're going to help her clean the puppies tonight, and we're going to weigh them. I do that. I weigh them twice a day to make sure that they're all eating well, and none of them are falling behind. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Now I kind of like to do them in order. I have a very specific order. Don't mind me. We're going to grab yellow. Let me look for yellow. Are you Miss Yellow? No, you're Miss Yellow. Yellow's feeding right now, so we're gonna go ahead and wait. Lavender. Lavender's all the way in the back. None of them are gonna make it easy for me tonight. Oh, I'm sorry, sweetheart. Come here, Mr. Gray. I'm sorry. So I'm gonna grab Miss Lavender. Now look at this chunky monkey. Look how beautiful she is. Look how well fed she is. You see? You want a nice round belly, and that's how you know that they're well fed. If she wasn't eating enough, she'd definitely have sunken in on the sides. But clearly Mama Luna has really good milk because look how chunky this little girl is. Now these are they are 5 days old. They were born on Tuesday, but look how big they're getting already. She's a beautiful Merle. This is a girl. This is Miss Lavender. So like I said, I'm going to change the collar. This was her old collar. Look how dirty that is. And only 5 days old. So I'm going to put her brand new clean collar on. Let's see how long these remain clean. That way you guys can identify them. It's easier for me to tell them apart because I'm with them every day. So for example, like I know this is Miss Green. Really easy to tell. She's a totally different color, right? So I know this is Miss Green. I'll grab another of the Merles. It's just one's feeding and one's all the way in the corner. So bear with me. Let me grab her. So that way I can show you how I tell them apart. Ooh, she's in the corner. Come here, baby. Sorry. Here we go. Now, For example, this is Miss Red. Now I know this is Miss Red. One, because she's a lot smaller, but also if you guys notice, she's got way bigger patches, right? She's a lot lighter and her patches are smaller, so it's easier for me to tell them apart. And the other, I don't know if you guys could see it, but I'll zoom in on her when I grab her. She actually has a little heart. Miss Yellow has a little heart on her bum, so that's how I could be able to tell my Merle girls apart. But for your guys' sakes, I keep on the collars so that way you could tell them apart. But we're gonna get started. So this is Miss Lavender. We are going to go ahead and help Mama Luna clean them up. Now I will stimulate them to go to the bathroom a couple times a day. Puppies for the first 2 weeks cannot pee or poop on their own. So Mama Luna usually does a really good job of doing that, but I will do that a couple times a day. That way I can keep track and make sure that they're not dehydrated and that they're not constipated. I'll make sure that they're pooping okay. So that way, like I said, that they're not constipated, because if they're constipated, it means their bowels are not moving, everything's gonna get stuck, and then that's gonna cause more trouble. So I like to try and catch that before that happens. If they're constipated, they're gonna need a warm soap enema. So I keep track of that just in case they need that. So that way, you know, it prevents further problems down the line. So she's pooping just fine. I'm just gonna help her finish up, and then I'm gonna weigh her. There we go. Now can you guys see? I'm gonna turn this a little more this way so that way you can see where the scale is. There we go. And I'm just gonna weigh her. Now I weigh them twice a day. Let me see what she's weighing. Now they're really hard to weigh because they don't stay still. So my scale's constantly moving. So I wait for a second where she stays still, and then I will get that weight. Looks like she's 445 grams. Now I weigh these little guys in grams for the first couple weeks. So she is 445, and at birth she was 260. So she's just about almost doubled her weight in 5 days. So that's how you know Mama Luna has really rich, good supply of milk for these babies. Now this is Miss Lavender. How beautiful is this little girl? Now I did send out DNA, the DNA on all these babies on Friday to Animal Genetics. It'll take about 10 business days or so to come in, and can't wait to see those DNA results. Now I know she's a blue Merle, but it's really early to tell if she's going to be a fluffy. It looks like she might be, but it's hard to tell at this stage. So once that DNA test comes back, I will know 100% whether she's a fluffy Frenchie or a short hair Frenchie. Like I said, we'll know in about 10 days. But how pretty is Miss Lavender? I'm going to grab another pup, okay? Now here, let's see. I'm going to go ahead and grab Miss Green. Miss Green is another beautiful Merle. Now I don't really know exactly what color she'll be. It's interesting to see if she is going to end up being a fawn Merle or what color she actually is. Looks like, I don't know if you notice, but her paws are actually lighter than the back of her paw. I mean, the back of her body. So it looks like she actually, I know it's hard to tell, but might be carrying tan points. And then maybe a fawn Merle. I don't know. Like I said, I'll know more when the DNA comes in. But she's another really pretty girl. I really love her markings. She's got this little white patch here and this little white patch here. So she's going to be a really, really pretty girl when she grows up. She's one that I've been contemplating maybe on keeping. I don't know if you guys can tell, but look at the difference in her eyes. She's got a nice little patch of Merle on this eye versus this one. So she has really interesting coat pattern. maybe I'm thinking of keeping her. We'll see. We'll see as time goes by. So I'm going to stimulate her, help her go to the bathroom also. Can I see a pibble? What is a pibble? Hello, hello. How is everybody doing tonight? What is a pibble? Sorry, it's hard to kind of see the chat at the same time as I'm doing this. So, stimulating them, helping them go to the bathroom. Like I said, making sure that they're not dehydrated or constipated. Just helping them poop. Now, Mama was licking them earlier, so some of them might not have to go. But I just kind of like to keep an eye. So, how's everybody doing tonight? Where is everybody from? Alright, she might not have to go. I rub ever so gently, and I don't do it too much. Their skin is very, very sensitive at this age. So if I rub too much, I might make her a little raw and make her bleed. So I never want to do that. So I just rub a couple times. If she doesn't have to go, I keep an eye on it and make sure that she does go at least the next feeding. But I'm going to weigh Miss Green now. Oh, actually, I'm going to put on her collar. This is Miss Green. I'm going to weigh her now. She's a feisty one. She's my little escape artist. She moves a ton. So she's going to be really hard to weigh because she does not stay still for anything. Let's see. Ooh, hold on, baby. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Oh, all right. Hold on. Hold on. See? She does not stay still. She's a hard one. Let's see. She's a hard one to weigh. Looks like 436 grams. Look at this little chunky monkey. Look at that belly. This is another really well-fed baby. 436 is what I said, right? She was 259 at birth, and now she's 436. So she's well on her way to almost doubling her weight also. And we're just at day 5 of birth. That tells me Mama Luna has really, really rich, good milk. And so far, a good supply, enough to be able to feed all 8 Frenchies, all 8 babies. Now, I know that probably by 2 to 3 weeks, she won't be able to keep up with the demand of these growing babies because there's just so many. So that's why I really keep an eye and weigh these puppies multiple times a day to make sure that they're all gaining well. Because if not, then I will have to give Mama Luna a hand and bottle feed the babies some Espilac, which is puppy formula. But how pretty is she? Let's see. Now, I did Miss Yellow, Miss Lavender. Oh, I'm going to grab Miss Red. Oh, Miss Red is eating. All right, so I'm going to grab Mr. Blue. All right. Nope, this is Miss Teal. I lied. This is another girl. This is Miss Teal. I'm going to put on her collar. Now, she's also easy to tell apart from her brother. That is somewhere. Look, he's hiding. He's hiding. Now they look exactly the same, right? But it's easy to tell them apart because one's a girl, one's a boy. So, easy to tell them apart. So, this is Miss Teal. I'm going to go ahead and put on her collar. And I'm going to clean her also. I'm just going to try and take a look at some of these comments real quick. Aren't they sweet? So far my puppies are doing really well. Thank you. I appreciate that. They're 5 days old and they're doing really great. Mom, I've been blessed that Mama Luna is a really, really good mama. She's a first-time mama, but her instincts kicked right in and she knew what to do from day one. Now with Frenchies, well, actually with any dog that has a C-section, that's sometimes a hit or miss. because Frenchies need a C-section, they go into that operating room not knowing what's going on. They get put to sleep, and then they wake up and they have all these puppies attached to them, and they don't know what's going on. They don't, at first, sometimes they don't realize that that's their own babies, right? Because they didn't even realize that they gave birth. A dog's instincts usually kick in that they're having babies as they're actually delivering. But because Frenchies have C-sections, sometimes those instincts don't kick in right away. But I've been blessed that even though Luna had a C-section, and when she woke up she had these babies attached to her, she knew right away that these were her puppies, and she has not left their side at all, really. She doesn't even want to leave them to eat. I have to feed her inside the whelping box, and she doesn't even want to go to the bathroom. I have to literally carry her out of the box to go to the bathroom. Now, I don't force her to be in there, but she doesn't want to leave their side. And so if she wants to be in there, I let her be in there with them. You know, that's a good mama that always wants to be with her babies. I'm going to weigh Miss Teal now. Let's see. So another little escape artist. She does not like to stay still either. But I like Feisty. Feisty is good. It means they're nice and strong and healthy. Oh, hold on, baby. Looks like she comes in at 391. Another little chunky monkey. They're all really well fed. Now, especially, it's easier with them because Mama Luna stays with them the whole time. I don't ever, like I said, she could come in and out as she wants, but she always stays in with them. So these babies kind of free feed all day long. I know I'm not knocking other breeders. Every breeder has, you know, their way of doing things, but I know some breeders that will have the puppies in an incubator and only give them to the mama every 2 hours to feed, and then they go right back into the incubator. Now, I personally don't do anything that way. I'm not knocking the people that do it that way. Everybody has their own way, but I kind of let my females dictate what they want to do. If they want to stay in there with their puppies all day long, I let them stay in there. That way the puppies are always safe, warm, and feed as they want to. If she wants to come out, she's also free to come out. I always leave the door open. She could come out whenever she wants. But I've been blessed, like I said, with Mama Luna. She has been by their side so far and has not wanted to leave them. So this is Miss Teal, and like I said, she came in at 391, and at birth she was 244. So she's gaining nicely also. Like I said, I will always weigh them twice a day to make sure that they're all gaining appropriately. Let's see, that was yellow, lavender, red. Red is still feeding, so I'll come back to red. This was teal. I'm gonna grab white. Nope, white is still eating too. Okay, I'm gonna grab Mr. Blue. Come here, Mr. Blue. All right. This is Mr. Blue. He's one of 2 boys. This litter, we were blessed with 6 females and 2 boys, and this is one of the 2 boys. Let me see, I'm gonna put on your collar so that way you guys can keep track of who's who. Now it's very loose around them. It's not tight at all. It just kind of hangs there so you guys can tell what color is each puppy, or which puppy is which. So I'm gonna kind of clean him also. Like I said, make sure that they're all well fed, not dehydrated, and not constipated and pooping well. There we go. So just very gentle rubs and makes him go to the bathroom pretty much right away. Now he just peed. I'll see if he'll have to poop. Gently, like I said, we just kind of gently rub. Not too hard, so that way like I said, their skin is so delicate that you don't want it to rub it raw and make them bleed. But puppies are born pretty much defenseless. They're blind and deaf for the first 2 weeks. They don't open their eyes, and they don't, and actually their ears are completely closed. They don't open up till about 2 weeks, and then they'll be able to start hearing. So they rely completely on their scent to be able to find their mom, to be able to feed. Same thing, they don't pee or poop on their own for the first 2 weeks. So Mama Luna will always stimulate them to help them go to the bathroom. It's the only way they could go to the bathroom. And like I said, I help also by stimulating them to go to the bathroom. That way I keep an eye to make sure they're not dehydrated or constipated. Because if a puppy's constipated, that means I'm going to have to give them a soap water enema. And I try not to have to do that if I don't have to. So I keep an eye on that. But before that ends up happening, if I start to see that their stools are starting to get hard and pasty, I will give my females pumpkin in their diet, which will help them to give the proper probiotics and enzymes in their milk that will usually help puppies be able to go to the bathroom easier. I'm going to weigh Mr. Blue now. He comes in at 391. Now this was one of my smaller ones at birth, so he's gaining really nicely. Let's see, 391. He was born at birth, he was 234 grams, and we're now at 391. So probably, I would say, by tomorrow, he will have doubled his weight. And he, like I said, they're only 5 days old. So Mama Luna has really rich milk, and so far she still has a really good supply to be able to feed all 8 puppies. So this is Mr. Blue. How beautiful is he? Isn't he pretty? All right. Let's see, who else can I grab? Because they're all feeding. My last 3 are still feeding. All right. In the meantime, I'm just going to kind of clean my hands in between. I like to keep as clean as possible. So how's everybody doing tonight? Where's everybody from? No? All right. I also, in the meantime, while they're still feeding and I can't weigh them yet, I did want your guys' opinion. I'm going to kind of come sit over here. Let me just grab. All right. I'm going to grab a puppy. Let's see. Oh, I didn't grab. I still have, did I do? Let's see. Did I do yellow? I don't think I did yellow. Let me grab yellow real quick. But in the meantime, I will ask a question. So, here's Miss Yellow. I was talking to you about her earlier. So, if you notice, kind of, to me, it looks like a heart on her bottom. Can you guys see it? You see? Kind of like a heart. So that's how I tell her apart from the other ones. So I wanted opinions. What do I call... Look, I have one hiding underneath. I can see it moving. She's playing peekaboo with me. Let's see. I'm going to put you over here, baby. This is why I usually tape this down. Because they will hide underneath all of them, and then they'll kind of cry and get stuck there, and I have to come help Luna find them. So, I don't know if you can see, I keep plenty of rolls of tape everywhere because I'm constantly taping things down so that they can't get stuck underneath things. Alright, sorry, back to my question. I need help naming this litter as a whole, and then individual names. Since these puppies were born September 30th, and they'll be ready to go to their forever homes about the first week of December, just give or take. Usually I like to send them home by week 9 or week 10. That makes it either the first or second week of December. So these are going to be Christmas puppies. Should I name the litter and the puppies' names, make it a Christmas theme? Like, I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be too cheesy, but like my Winter Wonderland litter with, I don't know, reindeer names. You know, Comet, Cupid, Vixen, Dasher, Donner, Comet, Cupid, all, you know, those 8 names. Or is that too cheesy? Do I make it winter names like Noel and Solstice, or I don't know, anything else winter related? Or do I make it something a little more luxurious, like my Lux, I don't know, let's see, my luxury litter, my Lux litter with names like, I don't know, Dior, Louis for a boy, Coco, Chanel, Prada, Gucci. I don't know. I need some opinions, guys. What do you think? Kind of need some help naming these guys. Should I make it more luxurious? Should I make it Christmas themed, since they'll be ready to go to the forever homes and they'll kind of make wonderful gifts just in time for Christmas? Or more luxurious? What do you guys think? Nice doggies. I appreciate that. Thank you. They're French bulldogs. 5 days old. They were just born on Tuesday. How pretty are they? They're sweet little things, aren't they? Alright. This is Miss Yellow. I'm going to put her collar on. What do you think, guys? I kind of need help naming them. Maybe you could drop it in the comments what I should call them. Should I make it Christmas or winter theme? Or should it a little more luxurious? Or help me come up with different ideas, guys. Miss Yellow. She's got another little sort of heart over here. So that's how I'm able to tell my Merles apart. I'm going to name her. I'm going to name her. Sorry, I'm going to weigh her. That's what I meant. She is. Hold on, sweetheart. She is 410 grams. This little chunkster. Let's see what she was at birth. Miss Yellow was 253 and we are 410. So it's another one. By tomorrow, she will have doubled her weight. So they're way above where they should be on the scale. That's all credit to their mama. She's got really good milk supply so far. And I try to keep it that way. I always have food for her available with lots of veggies and protein and vitamins. Usually the puppies will kind of suck the mamas dry and they will lose so much weight and they start to show their rib cage and their spine, and I really don't like seeing my females like that. So I will always have food available, and then I give them goat milk and goat kefir for extra calories and extra calcium, to be able to kind of prevent that, hopefully, from them starting to show their spines and losing all that weight. And then vitamins. I always make sure that they have postnatal vitamins and their daily vitamins also, kind of to keep up with all the nutrition that she needs to be able to feed 8 Frenchies, 8 babies. But yeah, this is Miss Yellow. Anybody have an idea yet? No? Let's see. No? Nobody has an idea of what I should name these puppies in the litter? Give me an idea, guys. I need some suggestions. Let's see. Who's left? Alright. I just have the 2 black ones left that they're both feeding right now. You still feeding? Well, one is done. Maybe I'll grab a few. Come here, baby. Oh, you just finished. This is Mr. Gray. This is my second boy. Look how pretty he is. He has, I don't know if you guys can see, he has a little white chest. So he's all black and just a little bit of a white chest. This is Mr. Gray. I'm going to put on his collar for you guys to identify him. And I'm just going to, same thing, stimulate him and help him go to the bathroom. And this is just kind of my nightly routine with them. Okay, make sure he pees. Is he done? He's still peeing, which means he's really well hydrated. It's always a good thing. That means he's eating well and that he's getting enough milk. Because he is one of the smaller pups, I keep an eye on him a lot, and his sister, the other black one, because they were the smallest. And the bigger guys will kind of tend to push them out of the way to feed. So I always make sure that the smallest pups eat first, and then after they're done, I will let the bigger ones eat. Because if not, these little ones can, it's risky to have them fall behind on weight. And then it's hard to catch up, or they could get dehydrated, and a puppy could go downhill pretty fast if he's not gaining appropriately. So I always let the smaller ones eat first. Let's see. Oh, thank you for all the well wishes, for hoping that my puppies are well and saying that they're nice puppies. Thank you. I really do appreciate that. I pour my heart into these babies. I really, really do enjoy what I do. I love breeding these puppies and helping raising them and seeing them go to their forever homes. That really does bring joy to me. I love every part of it. I'm very much an animal person. I have been my whole entire life. If it was up to me, I would have an entire farm. I really wish I could have one, but unfortunately I live in New Jersey and land here is super, super expensive. But if it was up to me, I'm dying for some of those Highland miniature fluffy cows. I would love a couple of those, and maybe some fluffy miniature goats. And I've also seen some fluffy miniature donkeys that are just the cutest thing. I honestly would have an entire farm if I could. It's just my thing. I really do enjoy animals so much more than people, to be honest. But yeah. So how pretty is this little boy? This is Mr. Gray. Oh, look at that big yawn. Did you guys catch that? Look, look, look. Oh, look at that baby yawn. I'm going to weigh him, okay? Let's see. I got you, baby. You're okay. He's fine. You see how she watches everything I do? That's a good mama. She trusts me, but she's still watching to make sure that her baby's okay. Let's see. Hold on, baby. And he comes in at 366 grams. Now this baby right here, Mr. Gray, was 217 grams at birth. What's up, mama? You want your baby? 217 grams at birth. So he's gained a good amount. Here, mama. You want your baby? That's a good mama. Here we go. I got one more to weigh. She's running away from me. Come here, baby. One more. Now this is my last girl. She's another black little girl with a white chest. Now this is my runt of this litter, but she is little, but definitely strong and feisty. And then I like that. She came in at 188 grams at birth. She was really tiny. Really tiny, and she's gaining weight nicely. But even though she's been so little, she's been strong. Never once has she aspirated. I've never had to suction her. Now, usually the smaller pups tend to aspirate easier. Remember, these are Frenchies. They're brachiocephalic. So a lot of them have a tendency to aspirate well as they're feeding. They sometimes have a hard time coordinating sucking and swallowing at the same time. So, and especially if mom's milk comes up, gets let down fast, they will kind of choke and it'll come back up their nose. Now, that's always really important to keep an eye on, and you have to suction them. I always keep a suction machine on me at all times because you just never know. I have an electric portable suction aspirator. If they start to bubble, if milk comes out of the nose, I will turn it on and kind of suction each snare out to get all of the milk out. Let me put this back. Now that's really important because the last thing you need is for them to aspirate and have that go into their lungs, and it ends up being a pneumonia. And it's really hard to treat one of these pups with pneumonia. You could end up losing a puppy from aspiration pneumonia. So I always keep on hand just in case. I don't know if you guys can see. I'm going to turn this a little bit. I'm going to turn this a little bit so you guys can see. I'm going to move my chair. This is an oxygen concentrator. It's for oxygen that I will bleed into. This is an incubator. So if I ever have a sick puppy that aspirated or is not doing well, I will put them in the incubator. That way they're nice and heated and warmed. And I will bleed in oxygen into the incubator to give them more oxygen. Because usually with pneumonia, it's same thing as an adult. They're going to have a hard time breathing. Oxygen is always going to help and keeping them warm. A cold puppy is going to end up being a dead puppy. They don't do well. The whelping area always has to be kept somewhere above 80 degrees for them. So I have a heating pad. I'm going to move this camera over again. Let's see. Right there. So I have a heating pad in this corner. I don't know if you can kind of see it's turned on here. This corner is heated. The puppies are free to go there if they want extra warmth, but just in case they're too hot, they have the rest of the whelping box to move around. So just in case they don't get too hot. And then that way I don't heat up the whole whelping box. So that way I keep my mamas comfortable. They don't like to get too hot either. So I only keep the heating pad on that side. And then she will usually stay on this side so that way she doesn't overheat. And like I said, the puppies, like I have a puppy right here. I don't know if you could see him. She's in the heating pad. She wants to stay warm. The rest of them are warm enough because I keep the room in here at about 80 degrees. So they're nice and comfortable. But like I said, a cold puppy ends up being a dead puppy. They cannot regulate their body temperature for at least the first 3 to 4 weeks. So you always need to keep them nice and warm. Also, if you try and feed a cold puppy, their intestines are not going to work. The milk is going to become like cement in their bellies, and it's hard to come back from that. So I always keep everything on hand just in case that I need. I'd rather be safe than sorry. I'd rather be over prepared and have everything I need just in case I have a puppy that's going downhill, because I like to be over prepared. If that one day that you're not prepared is a day that everything can possibly go wrong. And trying to get all that supply, an oxygen concentrator and an incubator is not something that you could just go to any store to find. Even if you could get it next day delivery, that can mean life or death for one of these puppies. So you always want to be prepared and have everything on hand. So this was Miss White. This is the last girl. How pretty is she? She's, like I said, she's my tiny runt, but she's never aspirated once. Usually the runts have a harder time feeding, latching on, and aspirate easier. She's feisty. She's a fighter. Never once has she aspirated. Actually, I've been really lucky with this whole litter so far. Usually, especially that first week or two, that's when they have a tendency to aspirate. And as they grow, they will grow out of it. So far, knock on wood, they're 5 days old. Not once have any of these puppies aspirated on me yet. For the first 2 weeks, I stay in here with them 24/7, really, to make sure that they're not aspirating, that mom is doing a good job, that they're being fed well, that they're gaining well. Like I said, I'm in here all the time, and not once have I seen any of these puppies aspirate. But yeah, this is my last girl. Now I just weighed and cleaned all 8 puppies. Here, Mama. Here, Mama. Yeah, you're a good Mama. Here we go. I'll put her down. And Mama Luna, and like I said, I've been blessed with Mama Luna. She's been a really, really good mama. She has not wanted to leave their side whatsoever. She's free to go and come and go as she pleases, but she has not wanted to leave their side. I've been having to carry her to take her to the bathroom, and I don't know, you guys tell me, is she a spoiled dog or is she just being a good mama? She will not even eat outside the whelping box. I have to hold it up for her to eat. You want to eat? You're a good girl. If I put it down, she won't eat. I usually have to hold it. It's been outside the box, but she won't eat. I have to hold it for her. Now this is home cooked food that I prepare for them. All my adults, I home cook. I don't do kibble too much. There is some kibble in here because I also like to feed her puppy food. All my mamas, as they are breastfeeding, I will give them. No, you don't want any. I will give them puppy food, which is higher in nutrients and more calories and higher protein. So that way, she can keep up with the demands of feeding her puppies. But I also home cook for them. I'll make a video of that shortly. But I will do. Well, first let's back up. A lot of Frenchies are usually allergic to chicken, so I never give any of my Frenchies chicken. So I always will do ground turkey, ground lamb, and every other feeding or every other time batch of food I cook, I will add some kind of organ meat, whether it's calf liver, heart, sometimes kidneys, but I'll add some kind of organ meat, which is really good nutrition for them. So I'll do ground turkey, ground lamb, maybe some heart, cow heart, and then I'll add quinoa, and then a ton of veggies. I'll add some carrots, some spinach, some celery, some zucchini sometimes, maybe some sweet potatoes. Cook that all up, and that's what I give them as their food. I prefer a home cooked meal versus kibble. That's just what I like to do. But that's what's in there. Her home cooked meal, and then like I said, I do feed her puppy kibble because she just needs all the nutrition possible that she can get to be able to keep up with the demands of trying to feed 8 Frenchies, 8 babies. Now I am aware that at some point she might not be able to keep up with the demands. It is 8 puppies that she's trying to feed, and as much as she wants to, it just might end up being too much after the 2nd or 3rd week. So I might have to supplement. So I do always carry on hand. I have Espelac, which is puppy formula, and I always keep a bottle just in case I need to bottle feed them. Or I don't know if you could see. Hold on, let me put these things down. Let me open. Or an NG tube to feed them. Kind of will put it down their throat to be able to feed them, just in case I need to start doing that too. But I always, like I said, I keep everything on hand. Better be safe than sorry. Try and find an NG tube to be able to tube feed them. In a store, you're not going to find it. Fastest that Amazon can deliver it would be the next day. And you don't feed the puppy for 24 hours, that's a dead puppy. So I always keep everything on hand that I need just in case. Alright. Hold on. Just putting things back. back in their place. Hold on. Thermometer, so I always know the temperature in the whelping room. But I always keep a bottle of, this is Clavamox. This is antibiotics for the dogs, just in case any of my puppies aspirate and I end up starting to see the beginning signs of aspiration pneumonia. I always keep antibiotics on hand. I will start this right away to prevent them from going downhill, because pneumonia will kill a puppy really fast. So I like to be safe and sorry. Gotta be. Still alive? Did I lose the live?